Hello everybody, I'm Steve and welcome to Green Side Up. I've been doing a bit of tidying up down here and sorting out to get things carried on, if you like, from what I was saying the other day. So I'll just turn you around, you can have a look. So I've managed to clean most of this area up now, nearly there. I got the big sheet of plastic up to move to the back of the plot and cleared away a lot of the rubbish and detritus. There's just a bit of plastic left which wants spreading out. I've got some smaller bits just to cover this area, and a little pile of soil to still move. With these beds, I've been messing with these and getting these mostly sorted now. So these are done, they just need wrapped in plastic and then filled, layer of cardboard and then filled with compost. So the paths in between are now done. So they don't need covering now, and I'll just let the rain water that soil down a bit now so that it settles. Anyway, we'll just go and have a look around the back of the plot. So around the back of the plot now, this is the area where the new polytunnel's going. I've managed to get that plastic out and covered, and the area between the plastic and the fence, there is some protection down there as well. So this means now that this ground underneath can dry out, and then I can start working on it. So this is a project that I can do anytime between now and next sort of March, really. Get cracking on it. And once I start on the tunnel, they go up relatively quickly and easily, so I can move on now with something else. Right, so I've been getting some bulbs in here. It's not too late to plant bulbs, and you can plant tulips anywhere up till the end of January and they will still flower next year. Now what I found is that you can plant daffodils as well all the way up to that time, because I'm keeping them inside, I'm keeping them in my polytunnel, so it's got the extra bit of warmth and that growth spurt. Now you don't need to worry about feed. I'm using compost here because it's free draining, and I've planted some tulips, two things of daffodils. They're just roughly shoved in a bit of soil here, and I'll cover them with soil, compost, sorry, water them, and I'll leave them in the tunnel here to bring them on quicker. I have actually grown tulips and daffodils in the tunnel before, planted them around August, and I've had flowers. I mean, daffodils, okay, you'd expect to get them around Christmas, planted early, but tulips as well, which, you know, is fantastic. So that's the benefit of growing indoors. One of the reasons why I want another tunnel is because I do want to grow flowers in there of different aspects. So what I've got here is I've got some tulips, I've got some more tulips on order coming, and they were bought cheap at this time of year, because most people put their tulips and daffs in sort of August going into September. Now we're in December, you'll find that they're on offer, they're reduced. Good time to buy good bulbs and plant them, and especially if you've got an undercover growing space. If you haven't got an undercover growing space, then pop them up into these, put them in your back garden or somewhere sheltered, cover them in a bit of plastic. It's instant warmth. What happens is through the day the sun will go through the plastic, warm the soil, and they will grow that much faster. So you can get, you know, those cheap bulbs, plant them late and still get flowers next year. They may be 3 or 4 weeks later. If I'd planted these tulips in September outside and then planted this up now in December, these might be 3-4 weeks after flowering after the other ones that are already planted outside. But they will still come and you'll still get them. Don't need to worry about feed, because these are power packed. It's full of starch, it's full of feed ready to go. That will just grow on its own. You only need to worry about feed is after they finish flowering and the foliage is starting to die down. But before it starts to die down, start feeding them once a week, and it will pack that away in its bulb ready for next year, so then they're just ready to go. And let the foliage die down in the pots. Take them out, dry them off if you want to, ready for next year, or move them. You can naturalise them, put them in your garden next summer somewhere. So, you know, you've got options. You've bought cheap bulbs, you've had them flower, you fed them, they're power packed, put them in your garden and you've got cheap plants. I've also got some iris here. Normally I lasagna plant these, but I think it's a bit late for me to do that, so I'm just planting them in individual pots. And normally what I do is I normally put tulips right at the very bottom, bit more compost, then some daffs, bit more compost, then these irises normally all go in one pot, so you get the continuation of the flower. But this year, no, just putting them all in single pots, and I'm just going to cover them, water them, and leave them somewhere in the tunnel where they're not going to get in my way too much. They will get in my way because it's packed in here, but hopefully not too much. So there we go. I have got to go out. I've got a free plant. Where's it gone? I got these bulbs from J Parker's online, and they sent me this. This is an azalea. So Japanese azalea orange. I've now got to go and get some ericaceous compost to plant this in, and while I'm at the garden centre I'll have another look and see if their bulbs are reduced. So keep your eye open. You can even at Christmas Day buy bulbs online. Come January, get out there, get them planted, and you'll get a show of flowers next year. So do keep an eye on them, because as their stocks are reducing, they will reduce them in price and you will get cheap flowers. So that's my number one tip. Keep your eye on what's going on with these plant companies. So all I'm going to do is just cover these up. Incidentally, I've planted all these nicely with the roots down into the soil, which is the correct way to do them, you'll be told. But what I've done in the past, I was in a rush one year and I just emptied the nets into them, spread them out, covered them in compost, and they still flowered. And I have seen a video somewhere, I'd love to be able to find it again. It's a time lapse, and it shows a bulb put in upside down on purpose, and then as it started to grow roots and start to grow its shoot, it actually turned itself round and then grew away. Fabulous what nature can do. So that's it really, that's all I'm going to do. Let's just cover these up now. And there we go. Right, I've also got a peony here as well. This is it's a pink one called Sarah Bernhard, and it's just a root cut in basically. So in that one goes. Sarah Bernhard, it's a nice pink colour, and I love the description of it in that it says that it may need support because the flowers might be too heavy for the stems. Anything that's going to be too heavy for the stems, I love it. But peonies are big and beautiful, so this one will probably end up at home. I'll keep it down here if I can, but I'm fairly sure that there is somebody at home who's going to insist that this comes home. There you go. You have to bow to these pressures, don't you? So there you go. So I've got some more tulips coming as well, some more plants. Ordered some more. So anyway, light duties for a day or two. I've done enough digging and moving around. So that's it really from today. Look after yourselves everyone, please stay safe, and I'll see you in a couple of days. Ta-ra now.